Thanksgiving is coming up and we're starting to think about the menu, looking for Turkey Day inspiration. So I thought I'd share this super easy caramel pecan cheesecake recipe with you. So this recipe is actually gluten-free and egg-free. So if you are allergic to either of those ingredients, this is the perfect dessert for you. Let's start by making the crust. First, we're going to roughly chop up some pecans. They don't need to be too small. I like to have them on the chunkier side. Now add them to a bowl, and instead of graham crackers for a crust, we will be using almond meal. Add a little bit of brown sugar and salt as well. Now this is optional, but I'm also going to sprinkle on some black sesame seeds to add to the nutty flavors we have going on. Then give it a good mix with your hand or fork. Now we're going to add some cold butter, which I've been cutting into cubes, and we're going to use our fingertips and squish the butter into everything. You want to continue squishing until you end up with a crumbly texture like this. Next, spread it all out on a baking sheet and bake it for 8 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. When it's done, remove it and transfer everything to a plate to let it cool to touch. Then transfer it back into the bowl, and this time we're going to pour in some melted butter to help set the crust. To avoid a dry, crumbly crust, make sure the butter is mixed in well. So to make a cheesecake, you will need one of these Fat Daddy-O's or a spring foam pan, and I will link them in the description below. Now all we need to do is cut up some parchment paper to line the bottom of the pan and then transfer all my crumbly crust into it. Spread it out evenly, and then using a flat bottom jar or tall glass, press everything down into an even layer. Clean up the sides if you got any crust on it, or it will show up in the walls of the cheesecake later. Now just pop it into the freezer to let it set. Before we make our filling, we're going to bloom our gelatin so that it'll be ready by the time we need it. I'm just going to empty 1 packet or 2.5 teaspoons of gelatin into a heat-proof bowl and add about 4 tablespoons of water to it. I'm going to give it a mix so that every little bit is soaked in water, and then we're just going to set it aside. Now for the filling, we're adding in some room temperature cream cheese. Having the cream cheese at room temperature makes it easy to cream up, and you can use a spatula to get the creamy texture, but I don't really have the patience or, quite frankly, the elbow grease, so I'm just going to use a hand mixer. Mix at medium speed, making sure to scrape down the sides now and then. We want the cream cheese to be really creamy and soft. So once it's all soft and creamy, we can add in that caramel. Today I'm using store-bought caramel, and as you can see, it's from good old Trader Joe's. Add the caramel to the cream cheese and then whisk it until it's been incorporated. Next, we're going to add the lemon juice to help balance the flavor and also add in some milk. Now we're going to continue mixing until everything is nice and smooth. Once the mixture is looking smooth again, add the vanilla extract and more caramel. Whisk it all together and then give it a taste. You can adjust the amount of caramel according to your preference. Now we're just going to take the gelatin that we've been blooming earlier and pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds to dissolve it. Then pour it into the cheesecake and mix it in. Now our filling is almost ready. We're just going to set it aside and whip up some fresh cream. Pour the heavy whipping cream into a clean bowl and start whisking it at the highest speed. Make sure your cream is cold or it will not whip up. Pay attention to the cream and you'll see the textures start to change from liquid to a thick foam. Stop when the cream has reached soft peaks that look like this. Now I'm going to add our fresh cream to our cream cheese mix and fold it in gently. Once the whipped cream is well incorporated, pour the mixture into the cake pan. Give it a little shake to help smooth out the surface. You can also place the edge of your spatula on the surface while spinning the cake pan for better results. Give it a few taps to release the air bubbles trapped inside, and use a toothpick to burst the stubborn ones. Then cover and refrigerate for at least 5 hours. When the cheesecake has set, you can decorate the top with candied pecans. The candied pecans taste so good with the cheesecake, and you can find it in almost any grocery store. To release the cheesecake, we need a tall jar and a kitchen towel soaked in hot water. Place the cake pan on the jar and then wrap the pan with the hot kitchen towel. This will help loosen the cheesecake from the pan. Now carefully push down the pan to release the cheesecake. And voila! Our cheesecake is looking smooth and fine. Transfer it to a cake stand and drizzle generously with lots of caramel. I forgot to record this part, but you can sprinkle flaky salt over the top of the cheesecake and you'll get that nice salted caramel flavors too.